Member for Morialta.
Thank you, sir. My question is to the Minister for Tourism. Can the government, or will the government indeed, continue to support the outstanding Illuminate Festival next year and into the future? And with leave, sir, and that of the House, I seek to explain.
Leave is sought. Is leave granted? Member for Morialta.
Thank you, sir. The Illuminate Festival, currently underway, launched by the Premier last Friday, is in the second year, as I understand it, of a 3-year funding agreement with the state government. My question relates to whether the government will deliver on that third year of the funding agreement for next year's festival, and indeed whether the government is going to deliver ongoing support for the festival thereafter, or is at least giving consideration to doing so.
The Minister.
I thank the Deputy Leader for his question. I think Illuminate is fantastic, and so does the Premier. And we are very excited to announce on Friday the start of Base Camp. Had the opportunity to go on Saturday with my son. And yes, we will be continuing to support this fantastic event. And thank you for the opportunity to let me talk about it. So Base Camp will be going for the whole of July, and I encourage you to go along. And Light Cycles starts, backed by popular demand. It was a runaway hit of last year, and will turn to the Adelaide Botanic Gardens. It is the Australian first production from the Montreal studio Moment Factory, and it transforms the greenery at the Adelaide Botanic Garden into an after-dark immersive experience. It connects the guests to the natural world. I understand last year it was sold out, and I welcome that it's coming back again. For the same period of time, from the 7th of July, Light Creatures will also be available, and I encourage everyone to book your tickets and to go along. Now, of course, that is a celebration of conservation and exploring the historic precinct, looking up close, an immersive experience at the zoo. It's seeing our very own zoo in a different way. It's a nocturnal adventure, and it's back bigger and better than ever. But of course, one of the key areas of Illuminate this year, given the Van Gogh experience, which many people went along to, is the opportunity from Ouch Studio. They're an Istanbul-based visionaries. They've collaborated with NASA and with CERN. And this immersive work they're going to present, opening from Saturday the 16th of July, is the first place in Australia that it will be seen. And I think that is a really, really exciting thing, because we're going to see called the wisdom of AI light, and it is a connection of art and music and AI. And of course, we all know here in South Australia, we lead some of the work in AI, and we continue to see how we can welcome the wider South Australian community and interstate guests to see how we can all appreciate that. But Illuminate is not just in Adelaide. We have it in Renmark, in Victor Harbour, and also Mount Gambier. And in fact, I was down in Renmark to see in depth, amongst other things, in late June. And it was fantastic. If you went to the Renmark Club, they told me they sold out of schnitzels on opening night. Wow. Right. Everyone was packed out at the Riverland. And I've been really enjoying having that. So that was called In Depth in Renmark from the 3rd of June to the 2nd of July. That had a large-scale multimedia event by Craig Walsh, local artists and community members with sound and lighting. And it transformed the River Murray after dark. And I have to say, when I spent time in the Riverland, people kept talking about it and said, I'm going to take my family, or the family just went. So it was fantastic to have it. The Digital Garden will be in Mount Gambier from the 5th to the 21st of August. I think that's the second time it's down in Mount Gambier. Incredibly popular last year. Great to support it again. And the highlight of the project in the Digital Garden will be an interactive installation by Jen Lewin Studio titled The Pool. Then, of course, it moves on to the Harbour Lights in Victor Harbour on the 26th of August to the 11th of September. Craig Walsh again will be providing monuments, which is an experience there as well. Look, I think we've always focused on filling out the calendar, and Illuminate does us that, and we support it this year and next year as well.
I'd like to ask a supplementary, in fact.
Very well. Very
muscle
well.
memory. Supplementary, sir. I thank the Minister for that answer and her support for Illuminate this year and next year. Can I ask, will the government, potentially through the South Australian Tourism Commission, now enter into discussions about the next funding agreement following next year's Illuminate to ensure that we can keep this festival in South Australia into the future?
The Minister.
Well, I thank your enthusiasm for Illuminate and note that your government did a 3-year agreement, and when the time comes, we'll continue to talk to them about that. We know that Illuminate, we're a partner of Illuminate. It's not an SATC-managed event. It's great talking to Lee Cumberledge and Rachel as a party. They're both South Australians, and they've both been overseas, experts in their areas, been in New York, been presenting lots of different types of art and festivals, and they've chosen to come back here. And they've launched the Illuminate Foundation, a not-for-profit foundation, because they think that we're the festival state. And we do things exceptionally well here. And when we consider about Illuminate, and I recognise the previous government brought it to South Australia, I thought it was great. Unfortunately, last year it was interrupted by COVID. Now, we're believing that this year we'll see the full capacity of Illuminate to be here. I think it will become part and parcel of our winter calendar, which of course is the intention, where we're having fantastic occupancy rates at the moment in our hotels, but we want to have that the whole year because we want to have a bright CBD and encourage high hotel occupancy. We've nearly got 10,000 rooms now. But of course, we also want to include our regional areas, and I've detailed that as well. So I think that Illuminate is doing well, but we are a partner and it is owned by the Illuminate Foundation. When I keep talking to them about the skills that we have in South Australia, whether it be art, the electronics, about AI, and the capacities for us to see this grow further and further, my desire, my aspiration is for Illuminate to be a must-do for all Australians, for them to come here. And now that our domestic flights are back higher than ever before, we know that accessibility is not an issue for people in Melbourne and Sydney and Brisbane to come to Adelaide and see Illuminate. Illuminate is what we have because it talks to the best of what we can do, the science, the tech, their involvement in the space industry. I mean, that's just the start. When our studio did that work for NASA and for CERN, they're at the cutting edge of the possibilities that we have. Now, what's the best way that we can entice South Australian children to look at doing STEAM, as I think it is now, science, tech, engineering, arts, etc., etc.? Math. We show them and we immerse them. And I'm particularly excited about OUT because it will be that immersive experience. You'll be able to walk in and you'll see the technology behind it. Now, if that's not going to inspire someone, how else are we going to do that? The other thing I'd like to point out about Illuminate, there are 150 activations. Now, 40 of them are free. So, of course, there are ticketed events between Light Creatures, between Light Cycles and Studio Out, but there are 40 free events. Wow. So I'm going to say to each and every one of us here, and those listening on live stream, put your coat on, put your scarf on, and come to the city in July. It is the place to be. Now, one of the very exciting things are these lit seesaws that you have there. And I think people will embrace that. So we've just had Frozen. We know people love the cold. And now's the time to see Illuminate. And yes, it continues.